Thank you all so much for clicking on today's Dallas Cowboys Report video. If you haven't already, do me a favor and subscribe. We are less than 300 subs away from into the 94,000 mark as the march to 100K continues here. So if you guys want daily Dallas Cowboys videos, which, I mean, who doesn't, right? Hit that big red button and join us right now. Let's talk Brett Hundley now here on the Dallas Cowboys Report. Could he be signing as a potential option in the backup quarterback room? I'm going to give this one 2 stars. Look, we're kind of in the same Jeff Driskel category of, oh, they're bringing him in for a visit, and visit went well, and then we'll see if he ends up signing or not. So 2 stars on this one, first reported, by the way, by ESPN. Now, there is a connection between Brett Hundley and this current Dallas Cowboys regime. That is namely that Mike McCarthy was part of the regime and coaching staff that drafted and, of course, played Brett Hundley back when he was a member of the Green Bay Packers. Of course, that time in Green Bay wasn't great, as we'll get to more in depth here in just a second. But the Cowboys are at least exploring what is a not great group of backup quarterback options. Because right now on the roster, there is Dak Prescott, who's obviously quarterback 1. Duh. Garrett Gilbert is quarterback 2, I guess. Ben DiNucci, Cooper Rush are also on the roster. Those names aren't appealing. The Cowboys explored Jeff Driskel, did not sign him, ended up going to a different Texas team. That was Houston. The other top veteran free agent quarterback is Robert Griffin III. So again, it's like not a great group there. Meanwhile, for Hundley, not great. There's no way around it. And again, at this stage in the offseason, when you're in mid to late May with the quarterbacks out there, it's not a good group. It's really not. So Hundley in 2017, when Rodgers went down, got to get some starting experience. It was bad. His QBR was not good. A negative touchdown-interception ratio, not what you want there. On the bright side, Brett Hundley does bring some good mobility. And I think in the modern-day NFL, I want a quarterback who's able to run and able to move. Now, is this a Lamar Jackson-style runner? No, he is absolutely not. That's not going to be his role, but he might be able to drive the bus for you enough. Emphasis on the might side. Now, Hundley did not play last year for Arizona. He did play in 2019. It was 7 games. The majority of those were kneel downs and whatever. It was a 5 of 11. What was his stat line right there? 49 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The QBR was good, but it's such a small sample size. Who actually cares what that actually looks like in the end? So Hundley, if he were to sign, I think would compete with the likes of Garrett Gilbert for the main backup quarterback job. I think in the end, the Cowboys don't want to spend big on the quarterback, position. I don't think they want to throw more than a couple million at most at one of these guys. Driskel went for 1 year, 2.5, and that was almost what Andy Dalton made. So why would the Cowboys give it to Driskel? He's not nearly as good. I think they're looking more for a vet minimum type of player right now. And if they were to sign Hundley, I don't think he'd be guaranteed a roster spot. They still could go with Ben DiNucci as quarterback 3. Cooper Rush could surprise. Or maybe they only carry 2 quarterbacks in the end. I think all of those things are possible right now. So what do you guys want here? Do you want to sign Brett Hundley? Get your votes in for me in the comment section. Type in 1 for yes or type in 0 for no. Let's talk Reggie Robinson right now here around the Dallas Cowboys. Is he going to go back to the cornerback position? I'm going to give this one 4 stars, reported by Mike Fisher, and seems like this is going to be the case for the Dallas Cowboys, that Reggie Robinson is set to make the move back to the cornerback spot. So we're giving this one 4 stars here, and for the record, I approve of it. I think this is the right decision by the Cowboys. There are some other parts that are going to be impacted that we'll get to here in a second, but I thought Reggie Robinson was a corner coming out of Tulsa. And if you're going to move him to safety, well, it might have been easier for him to get on the field, but if you wanted to make the roster and make an impact, I wonder if corner is actually the better spot for him in the long run. As I'm sure you guys know, there was the official report of, hey, Al Harris told Robinson he's going back to corner, and then Dan Quinn was like, oh, wait a minute now, we're not sure on that, and now here in mid to late May, we're out with okay, he's going to go play corner. Now, Robinson was a front office pick in 2020. Will McClay liked him. The scouting guys liked him. He was not a Mike Nolan-led coaching staff pick. And I think that was a factor in why Robinson did not play much in 2020. He was not really out there on the football field. Robinson wasn't a huge factor for Dallas. One tackle, he was a backup at best. He wasn't really involved in the end with the organization in terms of actually getting on the field, to the chagrin of myself and many of you guys watching right now. And now it becomes even more complicated in the move that I think is right to put him at corner, just for him to get on the roster. Because you look at this depth chart, and we'll spend some time on this graphic because there's a lot I want to mention here. Trevon Diggs, he's a roster lock. Kelvin Joseph, right? Anthony Brown is probably a roster lock. His contract is movable, so we'll see on that one. Jordan Lewis could maybe get some run at safety, but he's a roster lock. That leaves Reggie Robinson, Maurice Kennedy, and Deshaun Wright for that cornerback 5 through 7, which they're not going to carry 7 since C.J. Goodwin's also going to make this team as a special team guy, more or less. Maurice Kennedy, I don't think makes the roster, but I think Deshaun Wright is going to. The Cowboys spent a top 100 pick on the corner. I cannot remember the last time the Dallas Cowboys moved on from a player that early in his career with that level of draft capital invested. So I think Deshaun Wright makes this team. So all of a sudden, you go 5 roster locks at corner. You're going to carry Robinson as your 6th with Goodwin as your 7th, quote-unquote, corner? I don't think it's set in stone by any stretch of the imagination. So I still believe in Reggie Robinson. I still want him to get a chance this year. But if he does not impress, knowing that the coaching staff that drafted him is gone, it's a new-ish coaching staff, and they've invested more in other corners, I don't think it's a guarantee that Reggie Robinson ends up making the roster this year. I think there is a very real possibility the Cowboys say, you know what, we're going to put you on the practice squad, or maybe try and trade you even. So get your votes in. Will Reggie Robinson make the Cowboys' 53-man roster? Get your votes in. Y for yes or N for no. The Dallas Cowboys Report is now available on the Newsbreak app. Go download it today at chatsports.com/CowboysNB. You can search for the Cowboys Report and then follow us for all kinds of great updates around the Dallas Cowboys, some videos for you guys, and of course, local news. Because if you're like me, you don't have the paper delivered, you're not doing a great job of staying updated with what's going on in your community, but the Newsbreak app helps fix that. So go download it today at chatsports.com/CowboysNB. We'll put that link in the comment section and in the description for you guys right now. Let's go to a story I did not think we were going to get to here. Amari Cooper, is he lazy? No. Fake news on this one. And this actually comes from a former NFL player who, as a reminder, they are not infallible. They make mistakes all the time with their opinions, as we've seen on national media, right? Jimmy Smith, the former Cowboys, actually, and Jaguars, from I remember him most as, receiver, threw out this and said, Cooper's lazy and lack of effort and faded down the stretch and blah, 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 blah. And I fundamentally disagree with the comments from Jimmy Smith. If Amari Cooper were lazy, guess where he would be? Not in the NFL. Now, as we'll get to more in depth here, Cooper can get a little bit mopey. We all know that. But the idea that the effort is outright bad this past year doesn't actually make sense to me. Here was Jimmy Smith's quote. Amari Cooper is a guy who is so talented, but the lack of effort really, really gets under my skin, especially for what he's getting paid. Now, I think what Jimmy's alluding to here is that there are games where Cooper's kind of a non-factor. There are some boom and bust and some inconsistencies in the end. But Cooper played really well this year. I think we all agree with that. So give me your one-word reaction to Jimmy Smith's claims. I'm going to go with wrong. When I watch Amari Cooper play, I don't see laziness. This is not the type of player who's so lazy he's getting cut out of the NFL. But get your votes in for me. One-word reaction to Jimmy Smith's claims. Again, mine was wrong. Amari Cooper's not lazy. He's working. He puts in the effort. So the idea that he's lazy when he's one of the best route runners in the NFL doesn't actually make any sense to me. What I think is being misinterpreted here is this. Amari Cooper is not an alpha. That is not his personality. He is not a Dez Bryant, fiery, passionate, very vocal and animated guy on the sidelines. That's not what he is. It's not his mentality. This is the guy that loves to play chess in the locker room. That's just who he is. But if Amari Cooper is lazy, and this is the production you're getting amid, frankly, not great quarterback play, I wish I was as lazy as Amari Cooper was. He caught 92 passes for over 1,100 yards. I think Smith mentioned going down the stretch when he torched the Philadelphia Eagles on 4 catches, like he was great in that game. There are moments when Cooper can kind of have not a great game, where maybe there's a great corner against him and he doesn't show up at the same level of consistency that you want. But over his time in Dallas, 2020, 2019, Amari Cooper's been really friggin' good. So this idea that, he's lazy, I think is very much just poor and low-level analysis out of Jimmy Smith. If you want more passion, I get that, but he's a great football player. I think we're being a little bit too critical there of Amari Cooper.